Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Important Locations for Map-Based Questions. This initiative has been brought to you by Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services, and my name is Shaik Datta. I'm the faculty for Geography and Environment at Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services. So in this initiative, we have been looking at all those important locations across the world as well as in India, which have been there in the news in the past 1 year and hence which become relevant for the upcoming UPSC Prelims 2020. So we were looking at, in our last episode, we were looking at some of the important locations of India, which has been there in the news. So let us quickly have a recap and then we'll move on to some new places for today's episode. So in the last episodes that we had looked at Bukkapatna Chinkara Wildlife Sanctuary, which is in Tumkur in Karnataka. We had also talked about the Chinkara and their IUCN status. Next up, we had also talked about the Red Hills, also called as the Era Matti Dibalu, which are present in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, which have got a geographical indication tag. After that, we had talked about the Sambar Lake and the death of thousands of migratory birds at Sambar Lake, mainly because of the disease which is called as avian botulism. Okay. Next up, after that, we had looked at the Amrabad Tiger Reserve, and we had also seen that there was the entire plan of mining for uranium, which was planned at Amrabad Tiger Reserve, which is in Telangana. But finally, the government of Telangana they decided they won't go ahead with this entire plan. So Amrabad Tiger Reserve, we have seen the details of Amrabad Tiger Reserve and where it is located in the Nallamalla Hills. Okay. After that, we had also looked at the Kuno Palpur Wildlife Sanctuary, or rather the Kuno Palpur National Park, that is how it is called now. And not only did we look at Kuno Palpur National Park, but alongside that, we had also looked at the cheetah reintroduction program in India. The details of cheetah reintroduction program, all these things we have seen. After that, we had seen Noradehi Wildlife Sanctuary, where it is located, and the entire concept of how this relocation is supposed to take place, etc., etc. All these things we have discussed, and not only that, but also we have touched upon the entire plan of Asiatic lion relocation from Gir National Park, that is in Gujarat, to the Kuno Palpur National Park of Madhya Pradesh. So all these things we have discussed. After that, we had looked at the National Chambal Sanctuary, and while we were looking at National Chambal Sanctuary, alongside that, we had also learned about the crocodilian species which are found in India. There are 3 such species of crocodiles which are found in India, like we had discussed in our previous episode. There we had discussed that the 3 species are: number 1, Gharial, or the fish-eating crocodile, which is critically endangered species. Number 2, the mugger crocodile, also called as a freshwater crocodile, which is like a vulnerable species. And number 3, the saltwater crocodile, also called as estuarine crocodile, which is a least concern species because they are present in very large numbers. So the National Chambal Sanctuary, which is present on the river Chambal, and it is across 3 states, that is UP, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. This particular sanctuary is famous for Gharial. It is famous for Gharial. So Gharials, they are critically endangered. Their numbers have fallen. Their numbers have declined by a great deal. But we get to see it is in the National Chambal Sanctuary where the Gharial is making a comeback once again. Okay, so that we had already seen. 3 important dams we had seen from north to south. We have the Jawahar Sagar Dam, we have the Rana Pratap Sagar Dam, and then we have the Gandhi Sagar Dam. Okay. After this, we had looked at all the details of Gharials and all. And after this, we had talked about the Green Wall of India. So before I talked about the Green Wall of India, I had mentioned certain terms which you are supposed to know. For example, I had talked about bioshield, and I had also talked about shelter belt. I had talked about transverse plantation. Green Wall is to ensure that desertification does not take place. That is the Thor Desert, which is there present in the northwestern part of India. That does not get extended. That should not spread to newer areas. And if it does, then that will result in the loss of many fertile agricultural land will be lost that way. So one of the major reasons why this Green Wall of India is being created, or rather it has been planned, is to ensure that it will act like a windbreak, it will act like a shelter belt, and will protect the areas which lie on one side from the desert sand coming from the other side of the green wall. So we had seen here this particular green wall, it is supposed to stretch from Porbandar to Panipat. It will cover the entire Aravalli range from Porbandar to Panipat, and it will cover the entire Aravalli range. Okay. It will check desertification by restoring degraded land through massive afforestation. So over here, a lot of trees will be planted, and that will help to ensure the fertility of the soil comes back. After that, we had looked at the Kajin Sara Lake, which has been recently discovered in Nepal. And after the discovery of the Kajin Sara Lake, it has become, or it is about to become, the world's highest lake. The world's highest lake earlier was also in Nepal. It is called as the Tilcho Lake, or sometimes also called as the Tilcho Lake. But now it will be the Kajin Sara Lake of Nepal. This particular lake, that is Kajin Sara Lake, is situated at an altitude of around 5,200 meters. Okay. It is also known locally as the Singar, Singar, Singar. And it is believed that this lake has been formed from a glacier, the melting of a glacier that has resulted in the formation of such a lake. Okay. After Kajin Sara Lake, today we are going to look at a new thing, that is Ramsar list, and why this particular thing is important. This is what we are going to look at today. That we get to see in the past 1 year, a lot of new sites have been, given the tag of Ramsar site. Now the question is, what is Ramsar site? What is this entire concept of Ramsar? Now to talk about Ramsar, उससे पहले तो आपको ये समझना होगा कि what is meant by a wetland. What is a wetland? A wetland is basically an area which will be covered by a, let's say, a shallow layer of water almost permanently throughout the year. What is a wetland? A wetland is a particular area which will be covered by a shallow layer of water almost permanently throughout the year. Such kind of an area will be called as a wetland. So naturally, jahan pe wetlands will be there, automatically the vegetation which will be found over there, because what happens is in case of wetlands, it is excessive amount of water present. So because of so much of water being present, automatically the plants which will be found over here should be water tolerant in nature. Water tolerant plants, they are called as hydrophytes. Okay, water tolerant plants को क्या कहा जाता है? Hydrophyte. So in case of a wetland area, the vegetation will be the vegetation that will be seen will be, that is hydrophyte. Okay. Also please remember, please know one thing, if there is an area where there is excessive amount of water being present, so tab jaake such kind of an ecosystem or such kind of an area can be called as a hydric environment, or hydric, you can say, ecosystem is there. So what does that mean? There is excess amount, like say for example, if I say xeric means it is arid or it is dry. So hydric means there is excessive amount of water being present. And in case if an area is neither dry nor it is having too much of water present, tab jaake aise area ko mesic kaha jata hai. So please remember, xeric, hydric, mesic. And on the basis of the type of environment, or the type of you can say the type of condition existing in an area, the vegetation growing over there will also depend upon that. So if you have an area which is xeric in nature, automatically the vegetation which will be found over there, that will be xerophyte. That is the type of vegetation which is found in a xeric area. Similarly, if you have a hydric area, automatically hydrophytes will grow over there. If you have a mesic area, so mesophytes will be found over here. So first thing that we have understood is what is meant by a wetland. Now please remember one thing, wetlands, especially when it comes to India, so wetlands, you can have both natural wetlands as well as man-made wetlands as well. तो जब हम लोग मैन मेड वेटलैंड की बात करते हैं, अगर हम लोग इंडिया में देखें तो सबसे कॉमन टाइप ऑफ वेटलैंड जो है इंडिया में, वो मैन मेड ही है. सो द मोस्ट कॉमन टाइप ऑफ वेटलैंड व्हिच इज फाउंड इन इंडिया is the our man-made wetlands, that is the paddy fields. So आपको पता होगा कि paddy, that is rice, when it is grown, usually a type of irrigation is practiced, इसको flood irrigation कहा जाता है. What is meant by flood irrigation? कि entire area will be flooded with water और उसी के ऊपर paddy would be grown. Flood irrigation is carried out. So automatically the paddy fields, they become examples of man-made wetlands. So I hope you are being able to understand why we call them to be man-made wetlands. Achha. Next thing that you should remember is this. These wetland areas, these wetland areas, they will have some characteristic property. What kind of characteristic property? Because let's say, for example, because the soil will be covered by a layer of water almost permanently throughout the year, hence what will happen is most of the oxygen which ideally should be present in between the soil particles, so all these oxygen, what will happen to them? All this oxygen will eventually get lost, and in place of oxygen molecules, what will happen? Water molecules will replace the oxygen molecules. Hence, we get to see that the soil which is found in such areas, the soil of the wetland areas, these soils, they are devoid of oxygen. They are like an example of an anaerobic environment. What is meant by an anaerobic environment? From the term itself, anaerobic, which means there is a lack of oxygen. There is a shortage of oxygen that we can get to see over here. So please remember, in case of wetland areas, the soil will be devoid of oxygen. Hence, the soil will be an example of an anaerobic environment. Anaerobic means there is no oxygen present over here. Achha. Apart from that, also you should remember that in case of wetland areas, because these areas, wetland areas, they are not purely an aquatic environment. They are not a purely aquatic environment. Neither are the wetland areas completely terrestrial ecosystem. So not it is completely aquatic ecosystem, neither is it a completely terrestrial ecosystem. Because it is a combination of both. The wetland areas are they are such areas where you have a combination of both terrestrial as well as aquatic ecosystem. Hence, these areas are examples of ecotone areas. These areas are examples of ecotone area. What is meant by an ecotone area? An ecotone area is basically an area जहाँ पे transition हो रहा है from let's say it is like a transition zone between two different type of ecosystems. So an ecotone area is basically an area which acts like a transition zone. जहाँ पे आप linear एक transition देख सकते हो. So let's say for example in case of a wetland area, like let's say Sundarbans, which is like a mangrove forest. So there you will find features and not only features but also the vegetation which will be present over there. The characteristics of such area will be a combination of both terrestrial ecosystems as well as aquatic ecosystem. और जहाँ पे भी ऐसे ecotone areas होते हैं, we get to see an effect जिसको कहा जाता है an edge effect, और उस edge effect के वजह से हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि biodiversity का जो level है वो काफी ज्यादा रहता है in case of ecotone areas. इसीलिए हम लोग देखेंगे कि जहाँ पे भी wetlands है ना, wherever there are wetlands present, in all these areas the level of biodiversity is much higher than any of the adjoining ecosystems. आसपास के जो भी ecosystems है उनसे काफी ज्यादा बायोडाइवर्सिटी हम लोग देख सकते हैं इन द इकोटोन एरिया. तो ये चीज आप याद रखो. दिस इज सो फार एज वेटलैंड्स आर कंसर्न. वेटलैंड्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर biodiversity. They are very important for many other purposes also. We'll discuss about that. But basic objective is this कि आपको एक चीज समझ में आ गया कि wetlands they are very important. Now what we get to see कि despite of the wetlands being so important from ecological point of view, economic point of view, etc., etc., wetlands are threatened today, especially those wetlands which are mainly present in the city areas. What is done is that these wetlands they are filled up by dumping soil and all over here. These wetlands will be filled up, and on those areas you will find new buildings and housing infrastructure projects etc. will be established, will be built over there. So that is what is happening. We are losing our wetlands at a very rapid pace, and this was recognized by the countries, and they decided that it is necessary to come to a global consensus. It is necessary to come to a global consensus. It is necessary to sign a global treaty by which the countries they will pledge to protect their wetlands. So countries they decided that it is time to ensure that our wetlands are protected. And it is time to ensure that there is a global consensus, a global treaty is signed ताकि wetland जो है उनको protect किया जा सके. अब उधर ही उसी को protect करने के लिए we have a particular convention. Again, what is meant by a convention? CONVENTION. Convention basically means a treaty, a global treaty. एक आप सोच सकते हो, it's like a like again some countries have come together and they have decided upon something. They agree upon something. तो इट इज लाइक अ ट्रीटी, उसको कन्वेंशन कहा जाता है। तो ये जो कन्वेंशन है, ये जो ग्लोबल ट्रीटी है with regards to protecting the wetlands. This global treaty, which has been signed by countries across the world to protect wetlands, to protect their own wetlands, तो such a treaty, ऐसा ही treaty है जिसको साइन किया गया था on 2nd of February 1971. 2nd of February 1971 जब साइन किया जाता है, ये कहाँ पे साइन होता है? ये साइन होता है ईरान में। मतलब this particular treaty, it was signed on the 2nd of February 1971 in Iran, and in case of Iran there is a particular city of Iran जिसका नाम है Ramsar. So because this particular treaty was signed in the city of Ramsar of Iran, इसीलिए इसका नाम हो गया the Ramsar Convention, इसीलिए इसका नाम दिया गया है Ramsar Convention। ठीक है, तो रामसर कन्वेंशन क्या है वो चीज समझ में आ गया। अब देखो रामसर कन्वेंशन में क्या डिसाइड किया गया, कब साइन हुआ? तो 2nd of February। इसीलिए टुडे वी सेलिब्रेट द ग्लोबल वेटलैंड डे। ग्लोबल वेटलैंड डे is celebrated on the 2nd of February every year. Why? Because Ramsar Convention भी उसी दिन साइन हुआ। Let's say I am India, somebody else is some other country. The thing is कि when a country is signing this particular treaty, what does that imply? इसका significance क्या होता है? जब एक country इस treaty को रामसर कन्वेंशन जो है उसको जब साइन कर देते हैं या तो जब ratify कर देते हैं, तो उसका मतलब क्या होता है? देखो, the idea was this कि whenever a country is signing this Ramsar Convention, automatically that country will have to nominate a wetland from within its own jurisdiction। मतलब कोई भी country जो आके रामसर कन्वेंशन को साइन करते हैं या रेटिफाई करते हैं, इट वॉज मैंडेटरी कि ऐसे कंट्री को उनको उनके खुद के एरिया के अंदर कोई एक ऐसा वेटलैंड सिलेक्ट करके देना है which they feel can be given the tag of a Ramsar site. So a country who is signing or ratifying the Ramsar Convention would have to pick and select a wetland, or would have to nominate a wetland from within their jurisdiction, which will be given the tag of a Ramsar site. What does that imply? When a wetland is given the tag of a Ramsar site, that implies कि it is a wetland of international importance. जब एक किसी wetland को ये tag दिया जाता है, that automatically implies कि that wetland, it is a wetland of international importance. Understood? So what is a Ramsar site? It is a wetland of international importance. ये चीज आप याद रखो। तो इंडिया ने भी ये चीज किया था, तो इंडिया had also signed the Ramsar Convention, और इंडिया ने भी कुछ wetlands जो है they nominated some wetlands. But again, not every wetland that a country nominates can be given the tag of a Ramsar site. बहुत सारे क्राइटेरिया है which a wetland has to fulfill, तब जाके उसको रामसर साइट का टैग मिलता है। Anyway, अब question ये है कि why was it in the news? It was in the news last year because we get to see a lot of new Ramsar sites were announced in case of India. So presently India has around 37 Ramsar sites. तो अब question ये है कि which are these new Ramsar sites which have been added? तो वो देखने से पहले let us just quickly know a little bit regarding wetlands और उसको क्यों preserve करना चाहिए, why we should have a convention to conserve the wetlands in the first place, क्यों चाहिए इसको। So let us see what is a wetland. It is a land area which is covered by water either temporarily, seasonally or permanently। ठीक है, a land area which is covered by a shallow layer of water, you can say either temporarily, seasonally or permanently। For example, a marsh, fen, peatland, all of these are examples of wetlands। It has a distinct ecosystem। ये बहुत important है क्योंकि wetland area में आपको मिल जाएगा both terrestrial ecosystem as well as aquatic ecosystem के characteristics। Question ये है कि why are they important? Because you see कि they will play a key role in hydrological cycle, flood control, water supply, providing food, fiber, raw materials। They will support lakhs of migratory birds from colder regions in summer। Apart from mangroves, जो mangroves के बहुत सारे you can say virtues होते हैं, there are many advantages of mangroves। For example, they protect the coastline from high waves। They, let's say for example, अभी सुंदरबंस है, इसीलिए कोलकाता is not getting affected to the extent that it should have got affected because of the cyclones which originate from the Bay of Bengal। Bay of Bengal से हर साल आप देखोगे कि cyclones will come towards Bengal, but it is due to the presence of the Sundarbans that the cyclonic winds, उनका जो speed होता है वो कम हो जाता है। अगर नहीं होता सुंदरबंस तो entire Kolkata would have been destroyed by now, chances are there। So how wetlands in India or wetlands in numbers, if we see, ISRO had in 2011 prepared a national wetlands atlas on the basis of satellite images. ठीक है, तो we can see कि around 4.63% of the geographic area of India is covered by wetlands. 4.63% of the geographic area of India is covered by wetlands. अब इंडिया में प्रोमिनेंट वेटलैंड्स कौन सा है? पहला जो रामसर साइट था इंडिया का वो था चिलिका लेक. It was the very first one. Chilika Lake was the first Ramsar site in India. Similarly, you will have Waller Lake. Waller Lake is a very large, or rather the largest freshwater lake in India. It is present in Jammu and Kashmir. Renuka, that is an example of a wetland present in Himachal Pradesh. Sambar Lake, जो अभी कुछ देर पहले ही हम लोगों ने देखा था, it is the largest inland saline lake of India and it is present in Rajasthan. So like this, you can look at various types of. We talk about many of them. East Kolkata wetlands is there, etc., etc. Now the question is, where are they present? So they go more or less. Even you can Google for this and you will get an idea, because sometimes questions are asked like this. Okay, let's say which of the states do not have any Ramsar site. ऐसा कौन-कौन से स्टेट है जहाँ पे एक भी रामसर साइट नहीं है? तो देख लेना आप इधर, just Google and check, because you'll find a lot of places. For example, you'll have Chhattisgarh, you'll have Jharkhand. ठीक है, तो ऐसे कुछ एरियाज होंगे जहाँ पे you do not have a Ramsar site. So just have a look at which states are there. For example, Maharashtra, Karnataka. So all of these do not have a Ramsar site within their borders. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि which are the new ones which have got added. इंडिया का जो लिस्ट था वो 27 था पहले. अब जाके we can see a lot of new ones have got added, and which are those? देखो, the new Ramsar sites of India are ideally in 3 states. तीनों states में. कौन-कौन से? जैसे कि उत्तर प्रदेश. अब उत्तर प्रदेश में नया कौन सा है? नवाबगंज, which is a wetland, पार्वती, आगरा, समान, समसपुर, सांडी and सरसाई नवार. ठीक है, उत्तर प्रदेश में कौन-कौन से है? नवाबगंज is there, Parvati, Agra is there, Saman is there, Samaspur, Sandi and Sarsai Nawar. These are the examples of wetlands which we get to see in Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, अगर महाराष्ट्र में देखते हैं तो महाराष्ट्र में भी we get to see one new wetland has been announced, or it has been given the tag of a Ramsar site, जिसका नाम है नंदूर महादेश्वर और माधमेश्वर. ठीक है, Nandur Madhameshwar. This has been given the tag of a Ramsar site, and this is present in Maharashtra. So आप ये चीज याद रखो कि महाराष्ट्र में इससे पहले there was no Ramsar site as such, and the Nandur Madhameshwar bird sanctuary, or Nandur Madhaveshwar, that is the first Ramsar site in case of Maharashtra. Similarly, अगर पंजाब में देखें तो पंजाब में you have केशवपुर मयानी, Bees Conservation Reserve and Nangal. ठीक है, केशवपुर मयानी, Bees Conservation Reserve and Nangal. So these are the new Ramsar sites which we get to see. It has been declared in case of India. तो एक एक करके देखेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल महाराष्ट्र. ठीक है, तो महाराष्ट्र के बारे में जो नया वेटलैंड जिसको रामसर साइट का टैग मिला है उसके बारे में हम लोग देखेंगे. So when it comes to Maharashtra, which one has been declared as a new Ramsar site? Nandur Madhameshwar Bird Sanctuary. Okay, it was originally a bird sanctuary. Nandur Madhameshwar Bird Sanctuary, that has been declared as a Ramsar site. ये कहाँ पे located है? It is present in Nipat तहसील of Nashik district. अब तहसील वहसील याद रखने का जरूरत है नहीं, आप याद रखो कि नासिक में है. It is present in the Nashik district. इसको और एक नाम से भी जाना जाता है, it's called as भरतपुर of Maharashtra. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि why is it called as भरतपुर of Maharashtra? Now you may be aware about the Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. So ये जो भरतपुर Bird Sanctuary है, या तो सेम लोकेशन में we have another area present जिसको कहा जाता है Keola Dio Ghana National Park. Keola Dio Ghana National Park. So whether we are talking about the Bharatpur Sanctuary or we are talking about the Keola Dio Ghana National Park, so ये दोनों जो areas है ये actually present है राजस्थान में. These areas are very famous. They are very renowned areas for migratory birds. तो similarly महाराष्ट्र का जो पहला रामसर साइट है जिसका नाम है नंदूर मधमेश्वर बर्ड सेंचुरी, इसको भरतपुर ऑफ महाराष्ट्र भी कहा जाता है क्योंकि इधर भी हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि बहुत सारे migratory birds they come. ठीक है, that is why this is also referred to as the Bharatpur of Maharashtra. And we can understand कि it is Maharashtra's first Ramsar site and कौन से river के bank में है ये? Is present on the bank of the river गोदावरी. बहुत important है. महाराष्ट्र आपको याद रखो. महाराष्ट्र का पहला रामसर साइट ये भी याद रखो. And this Nandur Madmeshwar Bird Sanctuary, it is also called as the Bharatpur of Maharashtra. It lies on the banks of the river गोदावरी. ये चीज आपको याद रखना है. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट चलते हैं टू पंजाब एंड पंजाब में देखते हैं कौन कौन से नए नए साइट्स हैव बीन डिक्लेयर्ड. फॉर एग्जांपल पंजाब अगर देखें तो केशवपुर मयानी कम्युनिटी रिजर्व, ठीक है, केशवपुर मयानी कम्युनिटी रिजर्व जिसको और एक नाम से भी जाना जाता है, इट्स आल्सो कॉल्ड एज गुरदासपुर बर्ड सैंक्चुरी. सो केशवपुर मयानी कम्युनिटी रिजर्व आल्सो कॉल्ड एज गुरदासपुर बर्ड सैंक्चुरी, ये एक चीज है. Similarly, we can get to see the reserve is a mosaic of natural marshes. कौन सा? केशवपुर मायानी कम्युनिटी रिजर्व. जब भी हम लोग कम्युनिटी रिजर्व की बात करते हैं ना, what is meant by a community reserve? Just to give you some idea कि let's say there are two protected areas. एक है protected area A और दूसरा है protected area B. अब A and B में कुछ कुछ animals तो present है. But the thing is कि आप चाहते हो कि let's say in A, let's say जो रिजर्व है कोई प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया है, एक कोई प्री प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया, लेट्स से नेशनल पार्क विच इज ए में प्रोटेक्शन जो है वो काफी अच्छी तरीके से दिया जाता है. दैट इज व्हाई द नंबर ऑफ एनिमल्स दे हैव इंक्रीज्ड, लेट्स से इन ए. एंड ऑन द अदर हैंड बी, जो प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया बी है, तो उधर बहुत ज्यादा पोचिंग होने की वजह से वो ऑलमोस्ट खाली है. वो भी नेशनल पार्क है बट इट इज ऑलमोस्ट एम्प्टी. सो व्हाट विल यू वांट? यू विल वांट दैट नेशनल पार्क व्हिच हैज सरप्लस एनिमल्स. तो उधर से इधर तक एक अगर कोई लिंक क्रिएट किया जा सके, तब जाके जो एक सरप्लस एनिमल्स है दे कैन मूव फ्रॉम वन नेशनल पार्क टू द अदर. गेटिंग इट? ये लिंक कैसे क्रिएट होगा? हाउ विल दिस लिंक गेट क्रिएटेड? दिस काइंड ऑफ अ लिंक विल गेट क्रिएटेड बाय डूइंग प्लांटेशन. आप अगर प्लांटेशन करके ट्री का डेंसिटी बढ़ा देते हो, देन ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल फाइंड कि द एनिमल्स विल यूज दैट पाथ टू माइग्रेट फ्रॉम वन प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया टू अनदर प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया. द क्वेश्चन इज that area over which you will do the afforestation reforestation to ensure that there is a wildlife corridor getting created. अब क्वेश्चन ये है, जिस लैंड के ऊपर आप ये सब करोगे तो वो लैंड whom does it belong to? If that land over which you are doing afforestation reforestation work, okay, to create a link between the two protected areas, if that land belongs to the government, ठीक है, तब जाके उसको हम लोग क्या कहेंगे? विल कॉल दैट प्लांटेशन. और जो भी जहाँ पे भी आपने एफॉरेस्टेशन रिफॉरेस्टेशन किया है उस एरिया को हम लोग कहेंगे एज अ कंजर्वेशन रिजर्व. तब जाके उस एरिया कहा जाएगा एज अ कंजर्वेशन रिजर्व. ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ दैट एरिया जिसके ऊपर एफॉरेस्टेशन रिफॉरेस्टेशन हैज बीन डन, इफ दैट एरिया बिलोंग्स टू द सम कम्युनिटी, इट बिलोंग्स टू सम कम्युनिटी और इट बिलोंग्स टू सम प्राइवेट इंडिविजुअल, तो तब जाके that particular area will be called as a community reserve. When a particular area is declared as a community reserve, तो तब जाके उसका जो देखभाल है, उसका जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, उसका जो प्रोटेक्शन है, all of that becomes the responsibility of the ग्राम सभा. ठीक है, ग्राम सभा जो भी लोकल बॉडी है उनका काम होता है. तो जब हम लोग केशवपुर मियानी कम्युनिटी रिजर्व की बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो आप समझ सकते हो whenever the term community reserve is mentioned, ऑटोमेटिकली इसका जो प्रोटेक्शन है, इसका जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन है, दैट इज कैरिड आउट बाय द लोकल बॉडीज लाइक ग्राम सभा. अच्छा, दिस रिजर्व इट इज अ मोजाइक ऑफ नेचुरल मार्शेस, एक्वाकल्चर पॉन्ड्स एंड एग्रीकल्चर वेटलैंड्स. दे आर मेंटेन्ड बाय द एनुअल रेनफॉल रन ऑफ. एनुअल रेनफॉल रन ऑफ मतलब जो भी रेनफॉल होता है, all that water will drain into this particular area called as the Keshupur Miyani Community Reserve. This site, it is an example of wise use of community managed wetlands. Okay? It is an example of wise use of community managed wetland. And क्योंकि wise use हो रहा है, तो wise use का देखो, ये जो रामसार साइट है ना, रामसार कन्वेंशन जो है, रामसार कन्वेंशन का मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव वही था. What was the main objective? That is sustainable and wise use of wetlands. तो जब भी किसी भी एरिया को रामसार साइट डिक्लेयर किया जाता है, तो that does not mean कि no kind of human activities will be allowed. ऐसा है नहीं. It does not mean कि सारे के सारे human activities will be banned from that area. ऐसा भी नहीं है. So जब भी किसी एरिया को एक रामसार साइट डिक्लेयर किया जाता है, उसका कुछ कुछ सिग्निफिकेंस होता है. For example, that site becomes a wetland of international importance. So that is there. It is a wetland of international importance. And apart from that, what also happens is this: conservation will be carried out, but alongside conservation, some amount of sustainable, you can say sustainable exploitation or sustainable development, that should also be carried out at the same time. For example, if we are saying that Sundarbans is an example of a Ramsar site. Sundarban is the largest Ramsar site जो India में है, ठीक है? So Sundarban Reserve Forest is the largest Ramsar site which is there in India. And if I say that Sundarbans is a Ramsar site, so how are people still going into the Sundarbans to collect honey and all these things? Let's say honey, lac, and all that. So the answer is this: it is a Ramsar site which says that the there should be conservation taking place alongside sustainable exploitation. So you cannot have, or you cannot have, unsustainable exploitation. So if somebody is going there, if somebody is going into the Sundarbans to cut some honey, so that is sustainable in nature. That can be sustained over a long period of time. Okay, so this particular Keshapur Miani Community Reserve is an example of wise use of a community managed wetland which provides food for people and supports local biodiversity. Okay, it provides food for people and will support local biodiversity. So what have we seen? We have talked about the history of the Ramsar Convention. What is meant by a wetland we have seen. And not only that, but also we have seen it from the Indian perspective that in India we get to see many new wetlands have been announced. So out of those 10 new which have been announced, out of that we get to see, we have discussed about Nandur Madhumeshwar Bird Sanctuary, which is present in Maharashtra. So we have discussed about that. And similarly, we have also discussed about the Keshapur Miani Community Reserve, which is in Punjab, also called as the Gurdaspur Bird Sanctuary. So we'll keep our session till here. Today's session will be till here. We'll continue again in our next session with the rest of the new Ramsar sites which have been announced in India. We have to look at each of these Ramsar sites in greater details because there are high chances of question coming from this area. Okay, so we'll keep it till here for today, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned to Actiplus Academy for Civil Services YouTube channel for more such informative videos, and please like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comment section how you have liked this video. So we'll meet again in our next episode with many more new locations from India which has been there in the news and which become relevant for the upcoming UPSC Prelims 2020. Till then, stay safe and study hard. Thank you so much.